Good morning, everybody, and thank you for attending this morning. I know that it's very difficult and challenging circumstances, but it's very important that you have the corporate induction. And I can see that you are respectfully socially distancing yourselves, so that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. So, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion. My name is Giles Matsell. I'm the head of EDI. I will shorten the phrase for you. And my role is to look after the staff, but also to advise all the services on being inclusive and offering a service that is equitable, fair for everybody, ensuring that all the staff also are treated with dignity, respect, and are free from bullying, harassment, discrimination, and victimisation. I'm based in HR, but I do work across the organisation, and I'll explain a little bit more about what we do as a team momentarily. But for now, a very visual display of some of the initiatives that we have at the organisation. So things such as the Disability Confidence Scheme. Some of you may have seen that when you applied for a position here. You might have asked for a reasonable adjustment, for example, in the application process or when you come for the interview. So we're very keen to develop a culture that is inclusive, disability, as with all forms of protected characteristics. And some of these posters you will see around the organisation and versions of them, different families, same love, different families, same care, for example, just highlighting visually the importance of diversity and equality. So lots of initiatives happening, and we do like to celebrate diversity. That's the important thing. So if you're new to the organisation, which I'm guessing you are, hence you're here, then if there's something you're particularly passionate about, then you can be involved in that in your areas of work. Okay. So it's nice to put faces to names, and we're a very small team. We're actually two teams that have merged into one. So workforce transformation, as was, or people planning, and the EDI. So Jo there with the glasses, she looks after workforce planning. So that's things like the staff survey. So the staff survey is an opportunity for you to tell us how it's going. Hopefully it's going well. If it's not going quite so well, then there's an opportunity to tell us. And then a lot of people will be tasked with trying to make things right. So once a year, you get quite a comprehensive survey. 3 times a year, you get something called a temperature check. The temperature check is shorter questions, but again, opportunity to tell us how it's going. And should we need to make changes, we will do, just to make the experience better for you. So that's the people, and the contact details will be at the end. I think I've covered that. So you will get the opportunity. We do survey people quite a lot. A variety of formats to do that. I should just add that all surveys are anonymous, so you don't have to worry about people coming back to you or saying the wrong thing, because we have the speak up, and it's the freedom to speak up. That's very important, because when you speak up, it means that we can do something about it. The worst thing that can happen is that we don't know why, for example, you've left the organisation, or if you're having problems and people are having those having issues that are ongoing. That's not good for your mental health either. So, do get into the mindset of challenging and speaking up where possible. So we have a number of groups at the Trust, as you'd expect, and some of these are the people experience groups. So all the divisions that you work in will have a different people experience group, comprising members of staff, senior team members, and again, opportunity to be involved and opportunity to feed things through. So if things aren't going so well, let's make them better together. Okay. So equality, it's the framework we work to. It's the law, essentially. The Equality Act 2010 and the Public Sector Equality Duty. So it's the framework of law. Again, protecting you and our patients. So bullying, harassment, discrimination, victimisation, all of that covered in employment, which should give you, hopefully, some assurance. And same for our patients as well, obviously. And they're having the equal opportunity as you are in terms of your training and development, access to progression, promotion. For our patients, it's access of equality of opportunity to our services, ensuring that we always ask the right questions and that people have an opportunity to have their individual needs met. Okay? With diversity, obviously, society is very different. People are different. We're all different. And that is recognising the differences. With inclusion, well, you tell me, what is inclusion? What's inclusion to you?
Feeling that you're a part of something.
Ooh, right, okay, yeah. People agree? Feeling that you're a part of something. That's good. Do you want to elaborate on that? No. You've just thrown it out there. Great. So there is a sense of collectivism, and I think there's a sense of culture. Is there a sense of culture? You might not feel it yet, but is that what the lines you're thinking of? Yeah. A culture that actually is there for people, dignity and respect. Fundamentally, those two things are very, very important. And also an aspect of fairness. People agree with fairness. Do you all want to be treated fairly? Yeah, you can't disagree with these things. So yeah, I think we're in the right lines with that, and we'll show a short video which probably explains inclusion better. So this is the protected characteristics. This is what you're covered. And as you look at that list, you'll think, oh, that's me. Perhaps I didn't realise that I fit in there because basically it covers all of society. There are some groups potentially that you might think, well, you know, why isn't sizeism covered, for example? Because again, where there's an area for difference or diversity, there's potentially something there for discrimination. And it's a good point. And in fact, there has been conversations around extending that provision. It also does come under, in some cases, disability as well, where sizeism it has a correlation to disability. So what you'd expect, any surprises there? No? So you know that you're protected bullying, harassment, discrimination, victimisation on these grounds. Now, you see the post there, Team NUH. So these are our values, our organisational values. And under the M, it says mindful. So that's take pride in our inclusivity and diversity. Hence the reason we celebrate it. The public sector equality duty is really your roles and responsibilities summarised. So we have to eliminate unlawful discrimination, harassment and victimisation. We have to advance equality of opportunity between different groups and different people. And we have to foster good relations between different groups and different people. And we do that through the policies, procedures, all of the stuff that you'd expect to happen. But that's why we have celebration events when it's safe to do so. So International Nursing Day, we take part in Nottinghamshire Pride. We have all sorts of things that are happening. We have a Disability History Month confidence. Disability History Month. Oh, I can't remember. Right. Disability History Month. And then we also have, we've got several things happening at any one time. So it is really everyone's responsibility to ensure that this happens. Okay? Can we make a deal? Shake? No. Okay. All right, just to give you some reassurance, we have a zero tolerance approach to all forms of discrimination. We do not condone racism, disableism, or homophobia in any way whatsoever. And we will refer perceived hate crime to the police and fully support our staff if they are victims or witnesses. Okay, sounds a bit draconian, but no, it isn't, because we will stamp it out wherever we find it to give you assurance that you can work in a culture that is free from bullying, harassment, discrimination, and victimisation. Okay? Does that give you some assurance? Yeah. Good. So we're a very diverse population in Nottingham and Nottinghamshire. I won't go through the individual details, but it's increasingly diverse, and I'm very pleased to say we are aiming towards having an organisation that reflects the diversity of the population that we serve. There are some challenges for that. When we look at the structure of organisations, particularly ours, we know, for example, that as you move towards the top of the organisation, the diversity is less. That's something that we are challenged to do something about, and we are doing things about that as well. So, it's movie time. Now, this is a Disney Pixar film. It's entertaining, but there is a serious message behind it. So it's all about inclusion. So whilst you watch the film, I'd like you to consider these things carefully. Try and put yourself in Pearl's knitted shoes, so empathy, compassion. Think about the culture, the behaviour and the values that's going on in this organisation, Bro Capital it's called. Who works at this organisation? What's the language like? What's the feel of the place? Is there inappropriate humour, banter? And there'll be an opportunity to have a little discussion afterwards. So enjoy it, but try and pick out the key messages as you think. Good time to pause that. Just get your initial reflections. So what's happening? Potentially excluded? A little bit of discrimination, potentially, yeah.
Inappropriate banter.
Yep, inappropriate language, banter, yep. So, how do you think Pearl's feeling at this time? Terrible, yeah. Can anybody relate to this? Has it happened to you? Is that why you're here? Is that why you joined this organisation, to escape from that? Yeah? Could well have been. So, what's the choices now for Pearl?
To leave or to potentially talk to somebody else, outreach within the company.
Okay, to leave or potentially to go to somebody, so somebody like their line manager or HR or staff side or the equality team, for example, or the Speak Up Guardian. Yeah, possibly. Yep. Or acquiesce, carry on. What's the long-term issues with that, do you think? Not great for mental health, completely, absolutely, yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, warm fuzzy feeling at the end? Possibly, yeah. Good. I should just add all copyright Disney Pixar and used for non-commercial purposes. It is, however, brilliant at getting the message across of what we're trying to put to you on inclusion. So you've already started this process, putting yourself in Pearl's knitted shoes, thinking about the culture, the behaviour and the values. So a little bit more information then. So the type of people that work there. Men, okay. Let's think about the protected characteristics, breaking that down a little more. So certain type of man. Chauvinistic, yeah, okay.
Similar age.
Very similar age, I would suggest, yeah. What about their ethnicity?
Same.
Yep. Any religious difference as far as you could see? No? Okay, so not very diverse. You look at the pictures on the walls. Did you notice that? The images. Images are very important. They tell you a story about an organisation. In fact, it was Pearl that noticed that when she looked at herself and then looked at the pictures. She made the choice then to try and assimilate into a culture. The important thing is, now you've joined us, you are the future of this organisation, and you bring yourself here. We want you to bring yourself here. It's a uniform organisation, so there's going to be similarities in things that we do, but please don't lose sight of yourself. So all of you will bring your own personal experience, background, knowledge, your lived experience, and it's really important that we capture that and that we work together to share that information with our staff, with our patients, and that's what makes this organisation great. You, okay, every single one of you, because you all have an important part to play in this story. So we're on a cultural journey here as well. There's lots of things you'll hear about the cultural change programme. We have 17,000 staff. That's a big challenge. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. But don't lose sight of being yourself, okay, at any time. So the culture at the start of the organisation, some might say it's toxic masculinity, yeah? Somebody mentioned about welcoming. She could have been welcomed into the organisation, or she could have had somebody to help her. Was she welcomed? No. Okay. Hopefully you'll have your local induction and there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions. But if you feel like you'd like somebody to show you or help you, then do ask that question of your line manager. Hopefully people will be a bit, willing to help anyway. I'm sure that's the culture that we are trying to develop. So, but if you do get stuck, do speak up. Don't feel too despondent. There's always somebody to help you. I'm certain of that. So Pearl went through a whole range of emotions, I think, in the film, didn't she? So she was very excited at the start. Then you saw a dip. But then she made that choice to assimilate into an existing culture. So she knitted herself a suit, tried to fit in. What happened to her when she did that? Did you see a change in her behaviour? So how did she become?
Became how they wanted her, how she perceived them as wanting her to be.
Yeah.
It became similar to them and what she'd seen, and didn't kind of left who she was behind.
Yep. So some of the behaviours might include aggression, for example, taking part in the inappropriate humour and the banter as well. Also, the moment when she saw Lacey as well. What happened there?
I think she remembered how she felt when she first started. And she didn't want to feel the same.
Yes, but just before that, because she reminded herself, didn't she, by looking at her picture, who she was, she did do something which you might think, wow, I'm really shocked at that. And that was, she told an inappropriate joke, humour, to try and undermine Lacey as a new employee to fit in with her existing colleagues. And that's called acquiescence. And sometimes that can happen. But of course, she had remorse, compassion, empathy for the situation that she'd been in herself. So, fortunately, she was able to overcome that acquiescence and then introduce Lacey into the organisation. So the next thing we see is she's the agent of change. She's the champion of equality, diversity, inclusion in the organisation in Brogue Capital. And it's a lot better for it, clearly, when the doors opened at the end. So who does Pearl represent? Because we don't have many balls of wool that work here. The team? Yeah. And what's a team made up of?
Different types of people.
Yeah. Different people. That's it. Different people. The protected characteristics that we talked about at the beginning. So we're all different. And there'll be some similarities, but nobody is 100% the same. So Pearl represents you, me, everybody together. There are things, as I say, that she could have been better supported. And that's why this organisation, we want it to be at the end of the film rather than at the beginning of the film. So networks, support groups, we have them here. We have support groups we have a BAME, that's Black, Asian and Minority Ethnic. staff network. We have an LGBTQIA, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, questioning, intersex and asexual and allies. And we have a staffability staff network for people that have a long-term condition or a disability or have a caring role for a dependent of somebody who has a disability. And these groups are open to absolutely everybody, recognizing that actually, for some people, they are more likely to experience discrimination, bullying, harassment. I'm very pleased to tell you we don't have that many issues here, but where we do, we speak up and we challenge it, and we always take action. That's our zero tolerance approach to discrimination. Does that give you some assurance? Yeah, should do. And everybody's covered equally under all of our policies. So this is a generalized course, general overview of what you can expect from us. But we've got a whole lot of resources on the intranet covering everything you ever wanted to know and perhaps didn't know you needed to know on EDI, on our intranet site. So anything to do with autism, for example, different types of disability, different types of religion, faith, belief. So all the guides on multi-faith that are on wards, but potentially you might not have a chance to see them, are all on these sites as well. So please do take the time, if you get time, to go through them. And if you want to contact us with any questions, then that's the team. And so, don't be shy. We're here to help you. That's what we're here for. There's leaflets and information at the back. And if you want to take one, then that's absolutely fine. Take what you need. And if you can't, if we run out, then just drop us a line. We'll get something sent to you. So, picking up where I stumbled earlier, we might see you at an equality conference at some point, whether that's Disability History Month, Black History Month, South Asian Heritage Month, for Knott's Pride. We have so many, but the important thing is to keep celebrating diversity, challenge and eliminate discrimination, and just to borrow from Bill and Ted, for those of you who've seen it, be excellent to one another. So thank you very much for your time, and I wish you long and successful careers, and good luck. Thank you.